You are listening to a Dynamic Works Productions podcast. This show is available on iTunes, Stitcher Radio Network, and many, many more podcast services around the world. You can find all our content, music, videos, books, podcasts, and more on our website, www.dynamicworksproductions.com. Have questions, comments, or concerns for us? Head on over to the social tab on www.dynamicworksproductions.com if you'd like to talk to us. Now, on with the show.
Sound for having just woken up, made a... Oh, hey, there's a video.
Hi.
Hello. How's it going?
Yeah, it's going all right.
Cool. I would give you a video too, but my computer literally crashes if I have video, and I can...
Fair enough. I don't care.
We tried it one time for one of the Pathfinder games, and we had a video between Canada and Mike and all of us here. And like I have a 2011 MacBook Pro, and it literally went, warning, processor not fast enough to handle all the video. Please stop. I went, oh shit. Haven't got one of those before. So,
all right.
Oh man, I just made it like an egg sandwich. I don't have my contacts in. I think I caught something on fire, but everything is okay.
Do I have any background noise issues?
No, you sound just fine and hunky dory. How do I sound?
A little tinny.
Yeah, a little tinny.
Yeah. Hold on a sec. I want to try one thing before we get started here.
Go for it. It now sounds like you have turned on something extremely loud.
Yep, that's what I was afraid of.
Fan?
All right.
AC?
Yeah, it gets a little warm in the office. So.
Yeah, I understand. I usually, like, I have, there's an air conditioner about, actually maybe like 2 feet from this laptop, actually right now. Man, it sucks in the summer.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I told you before I record from an actual legitimate soundproof room, and so it just fucking is a bear for heat.
Yes.
So there we go. So bad news. When I woke up, I think I texted you. Brock's sick with a fever. His kid hasn't been feeling good the last like 3 days. And he's like, oh, I'm invincible. And then, like, I wake up to a text and was like, so I was throwing up. I was like, oh, man. So he's out. And then I gamed until fucking 6:30 in the morning. So
brilliant.
Yeah, it was great. You know, I was doing so well. So well this week. I did a bunch of adulting. Found out I was painting for...
Should we be putting this on the show? Or
you know what? I think we're just rolling into the show because I just woke up and I don't feel like editing. This is the show. Welcome to the fucking year, everybody.
Well, welcome to the Tim and Nate show.
The Tim and Nate show. The Tim and Nate show. Early in the morning for Tim. For those who have gamed far too long because of their love of space and science and exploration.
Oh, you got 5 hours of sleep. I'm not hearing this nonsense.
You're like, whatever. I got babies. I got 2 jobs. Get out of here.
If I get 5 hours, I'm a happy man.
Yeah, I bet you were Brock here on the show today, he would also say the very exact same thing. He'd be like,
Yes.
whatever, 4 hours is good. 4 hours, a cup of coffee, we're good to go. We're good to go. And I was like, oh, Jesus, I don't know how you do it. So yeah, it's gonna
force of will.
suck for me when I have kids. So Forking Year, this is that. We're doing it now. And I'm joined by the honorable Nate Fu from the land of, is it still called the land of sunshine? No, that's Florida. What, Florida is the Sunshine State?
Florida is the Sunshine State.
What's
we are
California's dealing with jig?
The Sumi State.
Well, I mean, I could make a stronger argument for that. That also being the same thing up here in Washington as well.
The land of litigation.
Jeez, and don't you know it? Because I keep telling people all the time, because I deal with doors and ADA, Americans with Disabilities Act, and it's like, hey, you can't have a card reader behind the door that's going to open automatically that doesn't have signage, or you're going to kill your people, and they will sue. Like,
you can't put a card reader where the door is going to open.
Exactly.
That's one I've seen. And, I got to roll up, scan, back away fast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cool. So, this is Forking Year. We're doing a show. Tim's tired. I made a sandwich. I think it caught fire. I'm not entirely sure because I don't have
what kind of sandwich?
So I had as our listeners know, I have to do gluten free. So I have a gluten free hamburger bun by Fang or Franz, whatever the hell it's called. I always call it Fang. I think it's actually Franz, isn't it? The bread company, the big white bread company.
I don't have these issues. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's it's like Wonder Bread, like the brand, like you see it everywhere.
Okay,
is what I'm saying. Anyway, I failed already. Moving on.
Must be a local thing.
I don't think so. I mean, yeah, I don't think so.
Spell it for me.
Well, that's why I said Fang. It's either Fang or Franz, because it has a really weirdly angularly cursive name. You know what? We're gonna look it up.
Franz. Okay.
Yeah,
Franz gluten-free baked goods.
Franz bread. Yeah, but they do. Yeah, they've been doing regular. Oh, it looks like they're owned by Wheat.
Oh,
there you go, or
okay.
Wheat, however you want to say that. So there you go, Franz Bakery.
Nice.
Anyways, that chick looks charred as fuck on the top of the sandwich here, because as we all know, I woke up late to the show and getting going, and didn't want to disrespect your time, good sir. So we've got some cold Spam, a piece of cheese, and like an egg in a somewhat vaguely omelet-ish shape, and they're just smashed together, along with 2-day-old tea that I threw. I've gotten into these tablets recently called Nuun. It's spelled N-U-U-N. Very odd. They want you to pronounce them like noon, like 12 o'clock, like 12 o'clock noon. I don't know why. But they're awesome tabs because they have a little bit of caffeine, and then they've got all your electrolyte blend in it without any garbage additives. And they're real good. And so I threw a Mountain Dew on top of that.
Got any pre-work you can throw out in that?
No, I don't have any pre-work.
Oh man,
I'm sure my girlfriend does, but I'm sure it's also got things that it's just poison to me.
And I'm trying to work on slowing myself down. That coffee this morning was hit me like a dump truck, and I got a little bit of the jitters.
Okay, yeah.
Don't go quad when you don't need it.
Fair enough. So, let's see. You were saying, ask you anything on Discord.
Ask me anything, and I will answer it.
I
may dodge it, but I will answer it.
I'm definitely going to ask you some questions, kind sir. I kind of wish I did have a faster computer. I'll video chat with you so you can see my fucking messy shindig at the moment here, because
I've seen it.
You have?
Yeah.
Have we done that before? No.
Yeah.
Well, I still feel bad because even though your face in virtual space on my screen is about like, I don't know, a foot away, you are just a fucking blurry outline to me.
You're not missing much.
That's fine. No, so I was going to ask you. So, we all know, I am in the start of my probably long and drawn out 30s.
Yes.
And did you just kick off the video?
Yeah. I didn't want you to get like jealous or.
Oh, I kind of have to start a new recording now.
Yeah.
No
What?
offense. Yeah. No. Every time you flip the video on and off, it changes the file. So thanks for that.
Rip.
On and off again.
Rip.
I'll edit it in the show. Yep. All right. There we go. There's another hour of my weekend gone. Maybe. I don't know.
I won't touch it.
Here, how about I call you back and you just leave the video off, and then I don't have to feel bad. And then also I don't have to edit. Well, I still do have to edit, but so it goes. All right.
Do whatever.
Calling you back in 5.
All right.
If I can see the fuzzy, I see like a little fuzzy moving thing on my screen. Looking real close now.
There. We're doing voice only.
Yes.
Good.
And I forgot to start my secondary backup, so there we go. That's okay. The first one was going. And worst case, we only lost like the first 15 minutes.
Right.
Although we shouldn't because I have the laptop plugged in and everything is good. Okay, cool. Looks like the call is recording. It says it's recording. All right, everything should be fine. Okay, cool. So, as you know, cut in. As he laughs right through the cut in part. So now we have to do another cut in because we need a moment.
I'm going to keep laughing through it.
Oh, dear God.
I'm going to make your life a living hell.
Okay, well, you know what? We're just going to, just like all the other different pieces that I'm sure you've noticed a slight hiccup in the audio files because Nate kept breaking stuff.
What I do. So ask me anything.
Yeah, so, you know,
Your 30s.
I'm getting to my 30s. I'm definitely not where I probably should be in my 30s. What with my current living situation, and I'm just getting down into the nitty-gritty of buying a home, which has been on the main agenda this week. I've got a mortgage consultant on Tuesday, and we have like a really fucking odd situation for the home too. So my question to you is, how many homes have you had? What's the do's and don'ts? And how do I know when I'm getting screwed over? Go.
I've had 2. And much like you, I didn't get started until I'm pretty late. I've been in this house now for 3 years. And then prior to that, I was in a condo for 5. So do quick math. I was 34.
Okay.
33 when I bought my first place. Okay. Find a realtor you trust.
Okay.
And literally go off your gut.
Okay.
Realtors are a dime a dozen. If you walk in, you walk into your realtor office and they go, "Hey, here's our guy, and he's, fast, slick Willie, car salesman," and that's not your cup of tea. Walk away.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. So you'll find someone else.
As far as realtors go, so I have the mortgage consultant on Tuesday, and that's through my bank, and I get all kinds of fucking stuff through my bank, savings wise, for getting a house. I know Jessica needs to also go and look at what she can get for her stuff. She hasn't done it yet.
Well, and here's question number 2: Are you doing this as a solo purchase or a joint purchase?
Well, to get the sizes place we need, we're probably going to have to do it as a joint purchase, and there'll be 3 parties potentially, depending on how credits land. I know how much Brock can get. I don't know how much I can get. I'll find that out Tuesday. And then all 3 of us are first-time home buyers, so hopefully there's some kind of something with that one.
There is.
And Brock has like a family realtor who has put he's got a ton of brothers and sisters, and he's put his brothers and sisters in like tons of homes over the years, and he seems to trust them real well. So I think what it's probably going to be is, this is just my, like you said, go with your gut, is it's probably going to be, I'm going to find out how much I can get. They're probably going to offer me some sort of realtor through my bank. I'll probably have some communication with them and then also with Brock's realtor. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if we do end up going with Brock's realtor, because if we can secure the money, Jessica, good old girlfriend there, Jessica, she found this house that is literally like a mile south from here and would be kind of perfect for the space because,
How long's it been on the market?
It's only been on the market for 30 days.
Okay.
Is that good or bad?
That's good that it's only been 30 days. It's bad that it's been 30 days.
Oh, so it's a catch-22 thing. Gotcha.
Right.
Yeah.
The longer it's been on the market, that means either offers are put in and they're not accepting. List price means nothing.
Okay. That's good.
You'll see people. Yeah, you'll see people put it. And it's relative to the area around here. $500,000 is a steal. So you'll see people list things at $500,000 just to generate foot traffic.
Yeah.
And then people will put in offers at, they'll try to undercut 490, 480. Then some people will overbid at 520. The owner really wants 560.
Sure.
And they're trying to start a bidding war.
Sure.
But the 500,000 gets feet in the door.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So, if it's been on the market for 30 days, it's either is it an exceptionally good deal?
I don't know. Price wise,
because that's a question for your realtor. They'll do the comps and whatnot.
Because really, I'm not overly concerned about price as long as you can secure the money, because we have such a fucking awkward situation. So it's going to be me, Jessica, Brock, his 4-year-old, and we have to run the business out of it. So we need a minimum of 2 bathrooms, 4 bedrooms,
right,
an office space room, and then ideally you have some decent living room space, a good kitchen, because we're going to have to sort of downsize on the eating out.
Garages make great offices.
Well, that's the thing, though. I need the space for inventory and the work van. So I have to have a 2-car garage, and that will be the primary work area when I'm not out on the road, just for inventory and stuff. We kind of figured that out, basically paring it down to the bare essentials of what we need to keep in stock.
Fair enough.
And this place that we found, it has all of those, and it has like a 2-tiered mini, like it has like a living room and a den, and they're like right next to each other. So like, it's, I would say cozy would be a good word, but it would give me enough space to have like, like a, move basically my entertainment center over there, and then also Brock could have his thing as well. And so he wouldn't need that much space as well. And it's got a fence, and it's got a backyard, and it's got a shed. And all of these things are like, it just looks, it's close by, which is great. So we don't have to rewire ourselves into a new city.
Right. Your commutes don't change a whole lot.
Yes, which is kind of another consideration, because it's like we drive, like yesterday I spent probably 3.5 hours driving, which is a low ball on a daily drive for me. Like there was a job we did Tuesday, and I probably spent 6-7 hours driving, and it's just traffic sucks around here. Obviously, I know, I've heard it. It's not as bad as in California, but I feel like it gets sometimes as bad as California because of all these transplants that come from California.
That's why I chose to live 9 miles away from my work.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's definitely good. For sure. So yeah, I don't know. It does look, for a first step home, like it has basically everything we're looking for. It wasn't built too long ago. I don't know what too long ago means in Homeland or home buying world. But 89 seems not that far away. So it's about, so it's 29 years old. So
that's not bad. That means
that's pretty good.
Stuff like pipes, air conditioning. That's probably the first unit, and it's not going to get. It's right at that point where things could start going wrong with you know, it's natural age of stuff.
Sure.
Just be aware of that.
Well, just from pictures and the data that I was able to see, and being in construction, knowing some things about foundations, it's got a good concrete slab.
Foundations are great. Yeah.
It's got a good concrete slab foundation with brick buildup on the bottom, which I think personally is good for around these parts. And then wood frame going up above that. So it seems like it's got a really good base, which is kind of a concern around here, when it rains generally 6 months out of the year.
Yeah.
So it being...
I could show you pictures of the cracks in my walls that come and go as the seasons move.
Oh, gosh.
My home was built in 1953.
Yeah. And then to... we were using Redfin to find it, and it had a it had a quarter bath in what we would probably make the office for the business. And
what's a quarter bath? Just a toilet?
It's like a toilet and sink.
Okay.
So that's perfect, and then it's also down kind of in the den level as well. So it's like, basically where I'm sitting now in a very tiny soundproof room, like I basically have to walk to the other end of the house to go to the bathroom. So I would basically just use the office bathroom potentially,
Right, and you're not going to be taking a shower in there, so.
Yeah, exactly. But the kicker of that quarter bath is that the whole room, this is not necessarily a selling point. Actually, Jessica hates it. I'm not sure why, but I think it's actually kind of hilarious. The whole room is painted as like an American flag, like the whole 9 yards, like all the stars, the stripes. It's wrapped around. The toilet's blue, the sink's red.
Let me see. I kind of agree with Jess here. That's gaudy as fuck.
Well, true, but I think it's kind of
it's got personality.
It's got personality.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's definitely our hope right now that we can get the ball rolling towards that particular one, because that would just, that would make moving easy. That would make so many things easy while we're still in the midst of taking over this business that has it has enough problems right now.
Right.
We don't need our next living space to be one of them. And then, and it's kind of like a tiered house. It's sort of like, I'd say like, it's like got one of those staircases that kind of like goes up and then like makes a corner, but then there's like,
where you've got landings, you don't have floors,
exactly. So
right?
like while we're all living on top of each other, there's enough space that we could actually have space. So I don't know. I think it'd be real good. So if Fork Fam can put your hands together, do a little seance dance, pray, whatever
Cross
you
fingers,
do,
toes,
sacrifice goat
right.
to Satan with an extra O. Like that'd be great.
And that's the other thing with the first condo I bought. It would have been easier for me to qualify by putting more people, namely my not at that point not wife but girlfriend of over a decade.
Yeah.
It would have been easier to put her on there, but we did the bare minimum just to limit liabilities, especially, and I know you and Brock have been buddies forever. Money fucks everything.
Oh yeah, that's what right. What our money guy with our business said, was like, by the way, my research shows 100% of business partnerships fail.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, cool. Thanks for that. But and
it's one of those. It's not a disrespect thing. It's if you can eliminate the amount of hands in the pie, then there's no people will force situations and people will force things to be happy because, well, they're contractually obligated to, and that just doesn't make for good.
Sure. And
You know?
and you know, I could see that, but I guess the hope is, you know, me and Jessica, strong relationship, probably gonna get married at some point, you
Right.
know, and me and Brock
That one makes more sense.
and
Yeah.
me and Brock have already been through the ringer of probably like 25, 26 years of friendship.
Sure.
And like we've already had our ups and downs, and we've had all of our maximum fights and or betrayals or anything that could go wrong, you know. And then just
Hold on, where's some wood to knock on here? There we go.
I've got wood cabinet over here. Let me see here. There we go.
Yeah.
I don't know why the fuck I reached all the fucking way forward, got up out of my couch when my laptop is on a goddamn wood, like, little TV tray thing. Like, it's like right here. See, these are the things that happen with a just woken Tim and fucking everything is blurry past the microphone. What kind of day is it? I don't know. It looks kind of bright outside.
It's a Saturday.
Oh man.
So yeah, I'd like try to qualify with as minimal restrictions as possible.
Okay.
Obviously, if you can't afford it, then more people makes that better. Debt to income ratio.
Well, I mean,
is a bigger factor than credit score.
I mean, it is definitely a situation of like the three of us plus his kid, like we're a package deal at this point because we've also gonna have a business and business operating expenses, and there's like no other way to do it.
Yeah.
So, you know, us going in on a house together, it's the most logical sense for getting what we need rather than being all broken up.
It's just it's a long commitment, and
it is definitely a long commitment. That's
make sure you work out your buyout clauses, because I guarantee you Brock's not going to be living with you forever.
Oh yeah, like we've already got that, you know. And then part of the thing when we were looking for the
in
house,
writing.
Me and Jessica were we were basically, let's not, like, if we fucking absolutely have to, do the rent thing, but if we can, let's get a house and make sure that it's got, at least 5 years of life in the house and space, so that if Brock moves out, we can like kind of keep our shindig going on all that sort of stuff.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, it's definitely an adventure of a different kind, but yeah, I guess I'll probably be updating the Fork fam as things go on that. Did a lot of adulting this week, which is not really my thing.
Come on.
Speaking of that adulting, I've been paying off an iPhone that I don't have, and this is different than the one that was, I guess, stolen and put onto my account by somebody else.
Jesus.
Yeah, so last October we all upgraded to iPhone 10s and 10s's, and Jessica traded in her iPhone 7, right? And she had like half a contract on it, and so I was doing some figuring on my AT&T bill to see why it was kind of high. I mean, it's kind of high naturally just because we have a lot of phone lines and some business stuff on there and whatnot. But I was like, it doesn't make sense that, I was just like reading, because sometimes they have device descriptions next to which number they're linked to.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay. I'm like, okay, iPhone 10, got like 5 payments left. Okay, sweet. Have that one for 2 years. iPhone 10s. All right, got like 7 out of 30 payments. That's fine. Those are new phones. And it's like, and then I just see this fucking iPhone 7 payment like 27 out of 30. And I was like, wait, what? And like, this is a phone that we like turned in and traded in like in October or something of last year. And I was just like, oh shit. And so like I looked around, I checked what number it was associated with, and it was still like under Jessica's number, but not like integrated or something. I don't know. Cell phone bills are fucking confusing.
Oh, they are.
And so
I have 5 lines on mine, and I kind of have the same situation where we've swapped out a phone, but I didn't pay off the existing one, but I didn't pay the buyout.
Yeah,
So
because
it's
there's
still
always a
on my
buyout.
bill. Right.
Yeah. Who's your
So
carrier?
it's still on my bill. Sprint.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, they're all the same though. It's like, yeah, my
they're
base
all
plan
really similar.
for 5 lines is $160 a month. My bill that I get in the mail every month is about $470.
Yeah, I'm paying about $512, but I've got
and most of that is the lease fees.
Well, some of it's the lease fees, but like I have a lot more numbers than you. So, like I've got my phone. I have an Apple Watch that has a cellular because me and Jessica, for our Christmas this year, we got each other Apple Watches. And really, the only financial way to do that was to pay $10 a month to AT&T. So they have to have cellular on there. So that's another $9 of cellular service plus another number. Although thankfully they don't charge you like a full like iPhone service thing for the watch.
Sure.
So let's see, that's 4 lines just for me and Jessica. Then I have a work number using the dual SIM built into my iPhone. So I have to pay for that line of data and all that sort of stuff. Same as paying for like a regular iPhone. And then I've got Brock's.
How does that work for data if you're doing the dual SIM? Does it split it 50-50 or does it double bill you?
First come, first serve as far as data. But I have an unlimited data because like I'm on the road so much. Just in like GPS usage alone, like if I use nothing else on my phone for data wise, I'm pushing 7 to 10 gigs just on GPS data use, just because I'm on the road so much. I've done the math on it. It's more economical to have the unlimited data plan, even though it is more money. Just because it's like I did the whole like data thing and like rollover data and like all that sort of stuff, and it was just
what day is it's the 6th
nightmare
today, right?
Yes, it's the 6th.
Okay, I'm at 5 gig.
When's your bill cycle start though?
The 1st.
Oh yeah, okay. Fair enough.
Right. So I understand. Let's see what last month was, just out of curiosity. No, that was...
yeah, let's see. I could probably tell you, though I will tell you right now, my data for the last month will be super skewed. Because if you listen to any of the last previous episodes, me and Brock have been watching a lot of fucking shows while we're driving down the road.
My Wi-Fi data usage is 22.5 gig.
Let's see, where's my fucking... Not storage, where's usage? Where the hell did they put that now? Usage.
No, they don't show... stupid upgrades.
It's probably under cellular. I got call time.
Yeah,
I think
last month I was somewhere in the neighborhood of 22 gig for the month.
Oh, I fucking Hulk smashed you on that one. You ready? Okay, take a guess. Seeing as I said Hulk smash. And keep in mind it's 51. Cellular.
51.
Not bad. 67.6
gig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a thing.
That is everyone at T-Mobile's, we can get you on this plan. And it's like, is it unlimited? Well, it's unlimited, and then it throttles back at 12 gig, and I go, nope.
Yeah, see, ours is unlimited, and then it throttles back at 30 gigs. But
that's reasonable.
AT&T really loosened up their like throttling thing, so it has like a tiered thing. So like if it like the first month it's over like a fucking 100 gigs, you get hella throttled after that. But if it's like you go over like, well, I guess in this case I went over like almost 40. It's I think it drops you to basically like base LTE speeds, which is not bad.
3G, not 2G.
Well, it's tiered, and then I'm on AT&T, and a thing that's frustrating right now, and we'll probably get into it in technology. Actually, what the fuck is the time on the thing? I guess it's 12:50. Actually, we haven't been recording that long. That's surprising. Like we talked about a fuck ton of stuff. Good show, Nate. Good job. um, but AT&T has this stupid fucking thing where they have rebranded their LTE in the like little corner of the phones now.
Right.
And it's geez, what is this? What does it say here? Let me pull myself off of my own Wi-Fi here. It says 5GE, which is not a real thing. And it's
Right, it's coming.
Super well, 5GE is not a real designation. Like it's not a real 5G thing. It's basically just the heightened boosted version of LTE.
Right.
Which is not the same thing as 5G. And
when they started doing the LTE Plus before LTE Plus actually was a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it Plus on your network? Mine was like LTE-E, like LTE extended or something like that. Similar things, but I digress. Anyways, so I had to fucking figure out why the fuck this cell phone was still getting paid for if we didn't have it physically in our possession. I open up a case, and dude, I'd ask him a question, and every 5 minutes he'd run back to his manager, and I was like, oh god. It's like, but
Hold on,
ultimately,
that's not in my script.
Ultimately, the dude came through, and he was like, yeah, like we have the capability to see like where the IMEIs have been activated yet, and it shows that you turned in the phone for the upgrade because you have the upgrade for the iPhone 7, but it also shows that the phone never got activated, so we don't know if it's like lost in a warehouse. And I opened up a case about it, and there's actually still some more adulting I got to do for it to see if we can't find it, but they're at least aware that it shouldn't be that way, but until they fucking find the phone, they still have to charge me, of course. And so I'm just like,
no,
Jesus fucking Christ.
No, they don't. They're going to.
So,
they don't have to.
Sure. Yeah, they don't have to be nice about it. I've only been with them fucking over a decade. It's fine.
Right.
I digress. Well, fuck. So, let's see. So, ask you anything. I'm trying to think of good questions, because you've been on the show a handful of times.
I've been on the show one other time. I've been in the audience for a long friggin' time.
Oh man, has it only been one other time?
Yeah, only the one. We've been trying to get me on.
Maybe I get that intermixed between the fact that we've had some very long phone conversations.
Yes.
That's probably what it is.
Episode length phone conversations.
Oh yes, episode length conversations.
Okay.
And
no, I haven't had any children show up on my front doorstep that I didn't know were mine.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. Because you were asking Brock a lot about that. You're like, oh, I want to know the story about that one.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Legit fear. Legit fear. I was, Free Willy for a while.
It's funny. That's like one of the one things that I have to edit out of the show almost weekly. Is like he forgets to change her name, and he's like, "Fuck." And I'm
he forgets to what?
Oh, he'll like say the birth mother's name. On the show, and he's like, "Fuck, I should probably not say that."
Let's call her Becky, because.
Let's not call her Becky, because that's Brock's mom's name. That gets real weird.
Okay.
Oh man. that is some shenanigans there. Yeah. I was gonna ask you some basic questions. What you been playing lately? What you been watching? And what don't you have time for that you wish you did?
Well, the first two are covered by the last question.
Oh, I see.
I would love to play more video games. I would love to be able to watch more TV. We basically DVR Orville. It's got to be our favorite show right now.
It's pretty excellent, right?
Yeah.
Are you caught up?
I'm back one episode. We just got through the two-parter.
Oh yeah! Holy shit! Right on that two-parter.
Right.
That's pretty. That was crazy.
Right. I mean, and they're ripping stuff straight out of Star Trek, and there's no bones about it. But
Oh yeah, I don't think there was from the get-go. I mean, we know
right,
how much of a fucking Trekkie that Seth MacFarlane is. You
right.
know, I mean, geez, he was a frickin' red shirt on Enterprise, only to die later in the episode. I mean, that's
So that's the one show we watch. We did we watched the whole Masked Singer thing.
oh yeah,
And
okay,
that was relatively entertaining. But at the
yeah.
end of the day, it's not
It's still a show about people fucking around.
right. Exactly. It's good dumb fun that
Yeah.
oh, I fell asleep halfway through the episode. I woke up for the reveal. Awesome. Didn't feel like I missed much.
Well, that seems like good timing then.
Right. Video games, I actually had managed to get some time in for Destiny.
Yeah. How's that going?
Did-
I hear they're overhauling all the Arc subclasses.
I want to get in and play that because I've been a Stormcaller Warlock from as soon as it became a thing.
Yeah, me
Love
too.
me some Emperor tickle fingers.
I have not heard
right?
that one. That's a good one.
So I've gotten on. I got there were the power surge bounties to get you up to 640. I managed to get those done. I was going to log in the other day to get my wife's account up to 640, but apparently the surge bounties were bugged.
Oh,
And
I
if
didn't know your wife
turn 'em-
plays with you.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah. That's
Have
our thing.
have I completely glossed over this aspect?
No, I
Oh.
might not have talked about it.
Oh, well, you're gonna fucking talk about it now. Let me tell you.
My wife and I used to play just for fun, like, oh, stress relief, we're going to sit down and play StarCraft together head to head.
Oh, Jesus. I would
She's
love that.
Terra and I'm Protoss.
Ooh, I love
No
both
Zerg
those.
allowed.
I love both
No Zerg
those.
allowed.
I really love Zerg and Protoss and Terran. That's
Right.
like my go-to. Like my go-to really is to fucking play Protoss, and I think it's the Dark Archon that does the full mind, and then take over like
Yes.
a Terran builder,
Yes.
and then have like a sub-Terran base
Yes.
in the Proton, and then of course a wall of photon cannons 3 deep.
Mm-hmm. Photon cannons, OP. Please nerf.
Yeah.
Because the only thing that could really beat those were siege tanks.
Siege tanks, and there is like a Zerg thing that like catapulted, is basically a siege tank, but it threw something up from underground or something at it.
Yeah, but not when you go 3 deep. That's hard.
Yeah, right, because you got to get close enough.
Exactly. Siege tanks, you knew exactly where to park them, and they would just eliminate. That's the only way I could get rid of some of those pylons, because my buddy used to do that. He'd run outside my base and just start building photon cannons and just lock me in.
Oh gosh,
bastard!
Fucking love StarCraft. Haven't played it in years.
Oh.
Or you play 1, 2 expansions?
1.
What? Okay.
1 Brood Wars. Yeah. I haven't played 2 because I didn't have a computer to do it. I do now. But
I mean, 2 will run on just about anything though. Like I played 2 on a pretty fucking low powered Mac when it came out. Like lowest settings, admittedly, but it was totally playable. And actually something about it was rather nostalgic for me, playing 2 on the lowest settings, especially when it came out. Because even though I did grow up with StarCraft 1, and like playing it in LAN stuff with friends and whatnot, I actually played a lot of the N64 version of StarCraft, which is StarCraft 1 and Brood War, like the complete games.
Right.
And that is looking back, I don't know how I endured that experience, but
that is a frustrating game to do on a controller.
Definitely to do on the controller, definitely to do on the 64, and to make matters worse, I played that motherfucker in split screen because I kid you not, N64, StarCraft 1 and Brood War.
How do you not screen look?
Oh, you do.
Yeah.
But the trick to it was whenever you were like building like a nuclear silo, you flick the screen to another corner of the map so you don't trigger the sound effect of like nuclear missile armed.
Right.
It's good times. I do not know how the fuck Blizzard made some deal with the devil to make that game run on there. It's pretty surprising, right? Because it's like they don't have a lot of RAM to work with, you know? I think at most, even with the expansion, they had 8 megabytes.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking ridiculous.
So yeah, like my wife and I, we've always played games. I remember when I got her into shooters, and shooters were at that point in time Unreal Tournament.
I love Unreal Tournament.
And then we had a Quake mod called Action Quake.
Heard of it? Didn't play it.
Mm-hmm. So it basically it's Quake engine, but it has locational damage. It has it basically, you know, sneak and destroy as opposed to just all out.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, we've played games together since very early on in our relationship. So every time we've gotten a new game system, I have to buy 2.
Oh, well, I definitely do understand that pain now because I do have, well, except for the Switch, I have two PlayStations, I have 2 Xbox Ones, and that's
yeah. Whenever that conversation comes up, why don't you switch over to PlayStation? Xbox game sharing is my answer.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Right, I have to buy 1 copy of a game, and both mine and my wife's accounts get to play it.
Now, I've not done the Xbox One game sharing. I've done the 360 game sharing in terms of like downloadable games and like you log it into the console and then playing it, kind of like how it works on PlayStation 4. But what's the is there a game share max, or how's that work on Xbox One?
So right, so you've always been able to, on any PlayStation or Xbox, you log into your account, and then any secondary account can log into that console and play any game that you've purchased, right? With Xbox, they allow you to set a home system. That home system is by default logged into your account.
Okay, that's the same way on PlayStation.
Right.
Okay.
Now you can go somewhere else and log into your account without logging it out of the home system.
Without logging it out of the home system. See, now that's different than PlayStation.
Right. So my office is a satellite account. My living room one is the home account. My wife logs into the living room. She's on the home account. I log into my satellite account. We play whatever game I've downloaded together.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Good to know.
But
if I want to keep some bills down for games.
The limitation is 1 home system, 1 satellite.
Oh, okay. So you're just a 2. Okay, cool. So like, yeah. So if there's a 3-player game for me and Jessica and Brock, that wouldn't necessarily work. Gotcha.
Correct.
Okay. Fair enough. So yeah, that is really cool. I'm envious of the fact that you 2 play the same games together. Because me and Jessica have played the same games together. Just like we tend to not do it at the same time, or like when I'm in the mood, she's not in the mood.
Or the famous one, and it may not be your case, and it's not mine. My wife and I play games together. The games that she likes.
I mean, I won't go so far as to say that it's true, but I'll go so far as to say the reason I stayed up until 6:30 a.m. this morning before getting some Z's before this show was because I was playing one of my favorite games, Astroneer, and I was playing it with one of my buddy Daniels, who I was going to get on the show. He just came back from, he's in the Air Force. He did some stuff down at California or something, and he was back. But then they switched him to graveyard shift, which is lame because he would have a good time on the show. But he was playing Astroneer with me until fucking 6:30 in the morning. We played from like 10:30 last night until like 6:30, and it was a fucking nice. Great time. But the thing I always say is, "Hey baby, you want to play some Astroneer with me?" And it's usually like, or, and then her response is usually like, or I could play Sims.
Right.
And I'm like, ah. Or sometimes it's like, oh, not tonight. Let's just watch shows. And it's like, okay. Or the other one is, and I get this one most often, at least in regards to Astroneer, is, Hell no.
Yeah, no, I am fortunate enough that my wife and I enjoy the same genre of games. We love anything that has a cooperative element to it.
Oh yeah, that's amazing because I love anything that has co-op with it. Personally, like I am always down to play co-op games, which thankfully, since Brock's around here, me and him have done a lot of co-op gaming as of late. In fact, we in last week's episode we popped in Borderlands 2, and we're playing Borderlands 2 because he picked up the Handsome collection.
I need to play it.
Have you played it
I
at
need
all?
to play it. No, I haven't, and I think I have it from the Xbox Gold. They're two per month download. I think I have Borderlands 2
I think
on
it's
that.
the first one, to be honest, because I was going through my Xbox library, and I have Borderlands 1 installed, so I think that was the freebie, and I think it was like last summer or something.
I am about to find out. Hold on.
So I'll tell you this right now, then, Nate. If you've not experienced, have you played? So you haven't played any Borderlands, is that right?
I have not played any Borderlands.
Okay, I'll tell you this right now. If you play either 1 or 2, 2 is obviously better. You will see how much Destiny stole from a game that came out like 8 years before.
I've seen the YouTube vids on that. Yeah.
And then furthermore, and this was my experience playing Borderlands 2 last weekend, having not played it for years and years, is holy crap, I wish all the other looter shooters did what Borderlands does, because there's loot sharing, there's and then the one thing that nobody can ever come close to in regards to Borderlands, even if you stacked up all of the Destiny 1 and Destiny 2 content, the content in Borderlands 2 just fucking dwarfs it
I've
by a country mile. Like, if you get into it, like, I'll tell you right now, it's the most bang for your buck co-op experience you could possibly buy. Especially if you and her are into Destiny. Like, there's just so much content. Like, it's really quite insane. So that's why people are losing their minds for Borderlands 3, which is coming out this fall. Or actually, no, this summer, September 13th. Yeah, because like everybody knows, based on the past, like vanilla Borderlands 2 and 1, like there's so much content, which is the one thing we always hear about fucking Destiny and Anthem.
Sure.
And even now that it's been out a month and a half, I'm starting to hear that about Division 2. Although I hear that it's definitely one of the meatier ones.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I actually played some Division 2.
Yeah, did you play the beta?
My brother-in-law... no, I actually the full game.
Oh, okay.
I could legit see myself switching over to that as a primary game.
Yeah, it's good, and it's funny.
Yes, I do have Borderlands and Borderlands 2 available.
Oh, there you go. The
Xbox 360 roll-up versions.
Yeah, no, that's fine. On Xbox One, they play great because their emulation is pretty impeccable, actually. Yeah. So yeah, I would recommend those. I mean, I would say, because so many games have taken from the Borderlands formula, I would say prepare yourself for a massive amount of content. It's also really ridiculously silly and funny and over the top, which
I don't mind.
Oh well, then you're gonna fucking love it then.
My wife and I's favorite co-op game still to this day is Portal.
Ooh.
The whole Portal series.
Okay, yeah, that's fantastic.
Right. So we love GLaDOS humor.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like, I got my Jessica through Portal 1 and halfway through Portal 2, and the whole time it was with the game, or the aim of, so that we could get to the co-op part of Portal 2, because it's fantastic. And I don't know. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, I think both me and Jessica are a little eclectic in, like, our taste. Like, we'll power into something, like, really hard, and then we'll, like, burn out and then leave it for, like, another year.
Sure.
So I don't know. It's a funky thing. But it is awesome that your wife plays the same games as you and with you at the same time. Like
that's kind of part of why she's my wife now.
Well, that's cool. I'm definitely envious of that next step in
You should.
in games. Well, and the thing is like, and she will, if she were here right now, which she's not, like, and she would say, well, what about that Elder Scrolls Online that we got that we've played like 3 times? To which I would say, A, sometimes I'm not in the mood for it, and B, I've asked her plenty of other times, you know, like, let's play a co-op game. And she'll be like, and then she'll like narrow her eyes and she'll be like, any game? And I was like, yes, even Elder Scrolls. And then she'll like not do it, and we'll go do something else. But I digress. Anyways, sweet. Well, let's Jesus, let's get through some topics here. Let's see what we got. I feel like there's
finally, spin the ring.
Some topics here. Let's do that. As this sandwich in front of me doesn't get eaten. All right, we've landed on water. It's terrible that I have to look this up every week.
That's entertainment.
You'd think I would. Oh my gosh, you know it by heart? That's incredible.
I'm sitting on the Discord.
Oh yes. Well, I'm only looking at the phone because it's the only thing that I can shove into my face so that I can read it. Oh, fantastic. Well, we got a lot of stuff going on in the entertainment world. So there's a Joker trailer, which I have not watched yet.
Hold on, I have to hold the baby real quick here. So if she gets cray. All right, you were saying?
I have a Joker trailer here, which I have not watched. And actually, I was saving it for this weekend. The Joaquin Phoenix one.
Yeah, having a feeling that you were going to bring this up today. I watched it right before we got on.
Okay.
So,
well, if you don't mind, I've not seen it.
Yep.
I have a sinking feeling in my stomach, but I'm going to see it here live on this pre-recorded show.
It is interesting.
Okay, here we go. I'm just going to play it right now.
Arthur, does it help to have someone to talk to?
My mother always tells me to smile and put on a happy face. She told me I had a purpose to bring laughter and joy to the world. Is it just me? Or is it getting crazier out there?
Smile, though your heart is aching. Smile, even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you'll get by if you smile. To your fear and sorrow, smile, and maybe tomorrow
What's so funny? Just freak.
Gotham's lost its way. What kind of coward would do something that cold-blooded? Someone who hides behind a mask.
I used to think that my life was a tragedy. But now I realize it's a comedy.
you just
Okay. And go.
Okay. So
Let's start with casting.
I think Joaquin Phoenix early day movies, particularly the Shyamalan ones, were his better works. I haven't much cared for his kind of middle of the career here. I think as far as if I'm taking kind of taking DC out of the equation, and just looking at it as like a crime thriller about a crazy person who becomes a crazy clown who goes crazy. I would say Joaquin Phoenix.
This is reboot territory, is what this is.
Well, it's not reboot territory. It's offshoot. It's not connected to anything.
Right. Okay.
I think it's good casting for that kind of a project. Does it look like it's going to be a very interesting performance from him? Yes. The rise and fall of a guy who seemingly has a mother and a sister and has been a clown and a sign twirling salesman, and life gets him down and he takes some bad choices.
Right.
Does that seem interesting to me?
I've seen a meme about this that basically the long and short of it was, in 1988, to get the Joker, we threw him in a vat of chemicals. In 2016 or 2019, to get the Joker, we threw him into society.
I think I've heard that one before,
yeah,
actually.
It's a meme going around.
I can see that.
It's kind of right. It's kind of accurate. And again, given movies are a cross section of whatever's going on in that state, I think this is good. It's a good interpretation, appropriate, right? I think Joaquin Phoenix will do a decent job.
I think all of those things make for a good movie, but now,
not a Joker movie.
But yes, but now where I come on the other side is not a Joker movie. So, like, here's been my concern from the get-go. If anybody has ever read or seen the DC animated film The Killing Joke, or actually, for a better word, because The Dark Knight took this from The Killing Joke, Joker's origin is always different every time it's ever revealed. And if it's ever revealed from the Joker, it's always, there are different...
right, the Heath Ledger Joker did that very, very well.
Yes, that would be a very good way of putting it, and probably most people have seen that one where he talks about how he got these scars, and it's a different story every time.
Right.
Them doing seemingly, and I don't know because nobody's seen this film yet, right? Them seemingly doing a one-take story on it, to me, seems like a terrible idea for the character and the myth of Joker.
Right. That's my youngest there. You can't hear her.
Do you need to
No, we're good. We're good at the moment.
Okay. I don't know. I think the trailer looks really good. I think it looks very interesting. I'm more interested in seeing it now rather than less. But as someone who's read a lot of Batman comics and seen pretty much all of the animated things that there is to see for the Joker, I am skeptical of what I like to call the Jack Sparrow effect of too much of a good thing.
Yeah. Well, here's my hot take on basically every Marvel, every DC, any comic book movie that's come out ever. The people that are dead set, are dedicated fans of the books, will always find a way to pick apart the movie.
Sure.
The reason
Always.
I've enjoyed every single comic book movie I've seen is because I don't know the comics that well. And the little bit that I do know, I can remove myself from that and enjoy the movie for what it is. Enjoy that, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the DC Cinematic Universe, the Star Wars Cinematic Universe. If you take it away from the books and everything else that is now canon, they're entertaining.
Sure. I can agree with that, but I think the difference here is we have a precedence for a movie Joker. You know, we've had
5 precedents for movie Jokers.
Yeah. So it's yeah. It's definitely, yeah, I don't know, man. Like I have mixed feelings about it. I have mixed feelings about like whether or not I want to pay money to see it or if it's one that I'll wait for like a rental.
Right, or Netflix, or
You know, because and
that's how I am with most movie these days. Just because, unless they and this one is one of those that doesn't look like it's going to benefit from being on the big screen.
yeah, that actually that's a good point there. It actually looks more like an HBO special.
Well,
There we go. That's what it is.
probably a very good chunk of middle class America has a 55 plus inch TV at some point somewhere in their house. Right?
I mean, I don't, but yes.
But you could. Like a 55
yes.
inch is a 100
I just don't have
change.
any place to put it.
Right.
And I keep walking by fucking Costco and Fred Meyer, and there's like $300 TVs, and they're like fucking 80 inches, and I'm just like, oh, sweet Jesus.
So with that, and I'm spoiled. I have a 55 in my office, a 65 in my living room, and a 55 hanging in my backyard.
Hanging in your backyard? How does
hanging
that
in my
fucking
backyard.
work?
It's on a retractable. I'll send you a video on it. It's really fucking cool. I'll put it in the Discord so everyone else can be fucking jealous about it.
Oh yeah, yeah, do that, please.
Yeah, I have a 55 inch TV set in my backyard so I can watch movies by my fire pit.
Okay, super obvious dumb question. How does that not get stolen?
I'll send you the video. It will make sense.
Okay.
And I have a security system. I have cameras and
fair enough. Very good.
I had that before. Yeah.
Very good.
So there are a lot of movies that are coming out now that it's really hard for me. I don't care how good they are. I'm not a big person. I'm not a big fan of crowds. I have children now. I'm not the asshole that's going to bring my 2-year-old and my 8-month-old to the theater.
Oh, thank God.
To watch a release movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's shitty when someone does, and it's okay. Now myself or my wife have to leave a movie that we paid way too much for.
Yeah.
To go tend to a child.
Yeah.
So I don't do theaters much unless there is something compelling about it. And the last movie that did that for me was Tron.
Ooh, what the original?
No, the second one.
That's right. That's right. You're a Tron guy.
Legacy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Legacy.
Did you love Legacy?
I saw it 4 times in regular theaters and 3 times in IMAX.
Yep.
And that's one of those movies that I watch it on TV. I own it on Blu-ray, and it's not the same.
Yeah. The only time that my experience from the theater for Tron came close was actually when they added 3D movie support for PlayStation VR.
Okay.
Which honestly is pretty awesome. Like, yeah, it's a little weird having a headset for like a fucking 2.5 hour movie because you do get sweaty.
You get the sweaty brow,
You do get sweaty. And well, it's not the brow, the fact that the sweat happens and then you get fog on your lenses. And then that kind of takes you out of the experience. But my point is though, seeing a 3D movie in theaters is definitely better than seeing it on a 3D TV. But seeing it on a 3D goggle is probably the next best thing because it can get the size, because it can be whatever fucking size you want in VR, which is kind of a cool thing. Well, but because it's a VR...
3D is an issue for me.
Oh, yeah,
it's
really?
always been an issue for me. And this is... Anyone that's seen a picture of me, anyone that's known me, I have a slightly lazy eye.
Oh, really? I honestly did not notice that about you.
Slightly, and I'm really good at hiding it.
Oh, okay. So does that fuck with your ability to do 3D?
Well, when I was born, that eye was crossed inward, probably. Say the dead center is 0%. It was crossed in about 25%.
I got you.
So 45 degrees in.
Okay.
So I had surgery when I was roughly 10 to correct it.
Mm-hmm.
Got it back to 0. But
Totally listening. Keep talking. I should probably eat some of the sandwich before I starve to death.
sure. Because I grew into it, then it overcorrected out probably about 8 degrees, 9 degrees, had another surgery to correct it again. And then my body said, nope, we're gonna stay out probably a few degrees. So through the course of my life, from being a kid to now, 3 dimensions is a concept that I don't understand. Because that parallax vision that your brain interprets 3 dimensions from has been skewed and fucked with my entire life. So going to see a 3D movie with what they call third dimension perspective is not what my brain knows. And it actually induces headaches and nausea in me because my brain is trying to figure out distance based on my eyes. Right? Because I've learned now certain things are certain distances based on my degrees of which I can look at stuff. And
I gotcha.
3D movies are based off of 0, like that 0 degree normal human being perspective. So it really actually messes with me. So I don't, if I can do without 3D, I will.
I gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. And I'm sorry to hear that, man, because it's definitely it's definitely an experience. But well, on the bright
born
side,
with no leg below their knee, they figure it out, right?
Sure. Well, but I mean, on the bright side, at least you've got video games and that interpretation onto a 2D space, which I would imagine, since you said yourself like has grown up seeing things differently, like I would imagine looking at a flat TV screen looks normal then, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Very good. Well, but regardless, glad you're on the Tron wagon. Tron's fucking great. I fucking love Tron. Everybody should know this about me.
But yeah, it's one of those that it takes a movie of that kind of scale for me to be compelled to see it in a theater experience.
I gotcha. Fair enough. What's the next?
Most of my movie releases are, I'll wait for it to come out on Netflix, or I'll wait for it to come out on HBO, or on demand at best.
Sure, somewhere. Yeah, I gotcha. So what's the next movie that's going to demand your presence in a theater?
It will be Star Wars.
Okay.
And not because I need to see it on the big screen, because I know if the motherfucker up there is going to spoil the damn movie for me.
That was honestly my concern going into Last Jedi. I was like, I need the first possible screening. Same thing as I managed to snag a first possible screening on a Thursday at 6 p.m. actually, for Avengers Endgame, because there ain't no way in hell
haven't seen it.
I'm letting Endgame's the new one.
Yeah.
You haven't seen Infinity War?
I just saw Infinity War, and last night I watched Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Okay. Gotcha. What'd you think of those, getting to them late to the game?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Like I follow enough of the series that the out of order didn't mess with me too much. I love the in credit of on Ant-Man versus the Wasp, where hello. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Spoilers, sorry.
Most of the world's fucking seen it by now. It's
right?
okay. It's okay.
Or they weren't going to.
Right, exactly. Or they'll still mad about it, like Mike.
Right. But yeah, I don't mind seeing them out of order. I think the only ones I haven't seen at this point are Homecoming.
Oh, that's a fucking tragedy, in my opinion. But then again, I'm probably biased because I'm as much a Spider-Man fan as I am a Batman fan, which is to the max.
So it doesn't take much to topple over or to mess that up in your mind.
What do you mean?
Because you're such a big fan of Spider-Man and Batman, it takes very few missteps for you to go, fuck you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Whereas me, someone that's a little more passive, I can shrug off a lot of.
Yeah, I mean, the difference for me is they fucking nailed it in Homecoming. It's a really, really fucking fun movie. Really
Sure,
fun movie.
and that's what I hear, and I will see it. I probably won't see it before Endgame, and I don't know how much that's going to matter.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you because I mean I haven't seen Endgame, and we know what happens to him in Infinity War. So
Right.
but obviously, there's trailers for his second movie for July. So
Which is post time frame of Endgame, so right.
yeah. So I don't know.
That's a whole different issue altogether.
I heard a really good. I watched a really good interview. It was like an Indian reviewer, like from the country India, and he was interviewing Joe Russo, one of the Russo brothers who directed Infinity War, and he asked him a question of like, now that we're so close to the release of Endgame, like, how do you feel about the fact that there's trailers about Spider-Man, who obviously bit the dust literally in Infinity War, but he's obviously got a movie coming out July 4th and not so dusty in that one. And so he paused for a minute and he had like one of the best answers I've ever heard for about like an answer yet a no spoiler answer for Endgame. And he's like, well, who's to say time moves linearly after Endgame? And I was like, oh, son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch, yeah.
What a fucking great line. So I was just like, oh, man, he's got a point there. Quite a point.
Anytime you you insert the concept of time or time travel or time shuffling into a series, nothing becomes a retcon.
Mm-hmm. It only becomes present.
Correct.
Okay, so moving on. Okay, so first of all, are you an anime person?
No, I am not.
Okay. Well, that's okay, because this is a live action TV show remake of a famous anime called Cowboy Bebop. And it's coming
I'm familiar with it.
coming to Netflix, and they have announced their live action cast. And for the life of me, I was talking over this with Brock the other day while we were sitting in traffic, and both me and him are huge Cowboy Bebop, the original anime fans. And for those who don't know, Cowboy Bebop is basically anime Firefly before Firefly was a thing.
Okay.
That is the best way to put it. I mean, cowboys in the fucking title, and they're people on a spaceship, and they do smuggling. Like it's fucking Firefly. But in a good way. So they announced the live action cast, and I, for the life of me, cannot decide if this is the worst casting of all time or inspired casting. Like I cannot decide. So playing the main character of Spike Spiegel in Cowboy Bebop is none other than John Cho from Star Trek and Harold and Kumar infamy, I'd say. And I say this is an odd choice because, as most animes, they're white-looking characters, and I guess the thing that's odd about it is they cast an Asian while specifically proclaiming their diverse cast about like this anime that's a fucking cartoon. And so it's like I'm getting a little like, it kind of irks me like when you cast just for the sake of casting, when at the end of the day the anime characters are white, and it's like they made a big deal about it, and I was just like, really, why? Like, just stop. Like, just fucking pick the right actor for the role.
Right. And if he's good at the role, does it and again, this is something that I go with a lot of movies where that's you cast a white person for a non-white role. Were they the best actor for the job?
Well, and it's a funky thing. So like,
right.
I've said often this year that so far my favorite movie this year that I've seen is Alita Battle Angel, and it's based off of a fucking manga, and it's based off an anime, and it's a fucking white anime chick, right?
Right.
And they cast a Hispanic chick, who then they CGI'd to make look like the fucking manga chick, which is I think a first. But in the context of the movie, it makes sense. Because she's
Right. It's not Ghost in the Shell.
She's not. Yeah, it's not Ghost in the Shell. And don't get me wrong, I actually watched Ghost in the Shell quite recently, and actually did watch the original anime. And don't get me wrong, I'm fine with Scarlett Johansson in any fucking role. I've said this multiple times. Scarlett Johansson's up there on the list, in my opinion. So I don't really care about that. But I'm just saying, it's annoying to me that Netflix is like, oh, look at our fucking diverse cast. We're not whitewashing it. And I'm just like, why cause attention to yourself? Like, it's really fucking annoying. Anyways.
Because forced inclusion is a thing right now.
Yeah, it's like, I don't care. Just choose the best fucking person for the role.
Right.
Like, that's where I'm at on it. You know? Like, all these rumors swirling around that, like...
Or cast a diverse cast. Please, by all means, do it. But don't do it and then proclaim to the world, look at what we did.
Yeah,
that's my issue.
Agreed.
Proclamation. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, like all the rumors swirling around Michael B. Jordan being like a black Superman, like I'm fucking fine with that because Michael B. Jordan is a goddamn fucking great actor.
Yeah.
Like just fucking. Anyways, that digressing aside, is John Cho right to play Spike Spiegel in Cowboy Bebop? That's where we're landing. So for those
I don't know because I don't know the character.
So Spike Spiegel, he's basically the captain of the Cowboy Bebop. Well, he's kind of basically referred to as a bounty hunter. Let's take that into context. So he's running people down all the time, and he wears a blue and yellow suit like something out of the 80s, and he's like gruff and somber and terse, you know. And when I think of gruff and somber and terse, I don't necessarily think of John Cho. You know, like I'm not denying the fact that he can't do serious. Like I've seen that in Star Trek, ironically, of all things, to see him doing a serious good role. You know, and he's got that kind of like tough demeanor. But when I think a tough bounty hunter guy who looks kind of like a slick 80s car salesman, at least in the anime, I don't necessarily think of John Cho. So I don't know whether it's inspired casting or terrible casting. Like I don't know. Like I don't know. Like I hope it's good. Like I'm fucking down for a Cowboy Bebop live action Netflix series.
Yeah, and he's got some chops. Like
yeah,
just little bit that I think, like, because I wasn't a big fan of Harold and Kumar. I'm not a big fan of that style of movie. But yeah, his performance in the Star Trek series is like, yeah, I could see him pulling off the space cowboy type role, especially from the second Star Trek.
Yeah. How dare you get them confused?
I know, I'm gonna
get off my show.
Framed on Twitter. I'm not giving my Twitter handle at the end of this.
All you need to say is, you ever watch Futurama?
I have.
Okay. Remember when Fry uttered Star Trek and like the whole world fell silent, and then they went into a long spiel about the great Star Trek wars of like 3031 and all that stuff. That's all you need to say. Like, the great Star Trek wars. And then your ass is covered. You're fine.
Yeah, I mean, dude's got some chops.
Yes. So moving down the list, we've got actor Alex Hassel playing Vicious. I had to have Brock remind me who the fuck Vicious was in Cowboy Bebop. He's kind of like an in and out character in the show, so I don't know whether he's a main character or not in this new version. We've got Daniela Pineda, however you say that. Either way,
right?
Playing Faye Valentine. I had to go in the backlogs to like get some good pictures of her because so Faye Valentine is like a super slutty, screws you over at every turn kind of chick in Cowboy Bebop, and I didn't see.
Oh, she's the companion. Yeah,
I didn't. Well, not really. Sort of like that character, yes.
Yeah,
but a little more, somewhere between the companion and the chick that Captain Malcolm marries, who betrays her at every time.
Right.
Yolanda or whatever. Somewhere between that. So I think she definitely looks pretty. I think of all the characters they've casted, she looks the most like her anime character. I guess the most thing she's done is she was a character in Vampire Diaries. Didn't watch that CW garbage. Not gonna. So I hope she's good. And then we've got Mustafa Shakeen.
Mustafa.
Mustafa? Oh, I'm saying that completely wrong. Playing Jet Black, who, in classic Japanese form, is playing a big old black dude.
Right. The taller the afro, the more power they have.
Yeah, I've not actually seen Mustafa in anything. Mostly because I didn't see season 2 of Luke Cage, but I guess he was the bad guy in season 2 of Luke Cage.
Okay, I'm looking through the backlogs here, and it's mostly bit roles.
Yeah,
and TV series. I can't think of anything. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, so you got your diverse cast of a Korean, whatever Alex Hassel's from. He could be, I don't know. He could be English. He could be, I don't know, Iranian. I'm not sure. You got Danielle Panita, Hispanic, and black guy.
Right. Hi, Token.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at least that's the same as the anime. The anime has a black dude, stupidly called Jet Black because he's fucking black. Like, but whatever. So that's the cast. My only comment about the cast, other than I have no idea if they can pull it off. I hope they can, because I've not seen too much of them besides John Cho, is in the anime, they have like a little, like 8-year-old girl running around doing crazy things. And I don't see that in the cast list here. So either hasn't been casted, or not going to have a little 8-year-old girl running around their starship as they go on their bounty hunts. Which,
or they're being very, very secretive about it.
Well, that.
Or there's some contract nonsense involved in that they can't put it on IMDb yet.
Yeah, it could be that. That's definitely true. But I mean, I don't have any cast picks for who to play like a crazy girl running around a ship. Yeah, I just hope that she's there, because that's the Cowboy Bebop. And for those wondering further why I call Cowboy Bebop really similar to Firefly, it too was canceled after a season. So just say it.
Apparently people don't like that type of series.
Well, I mean, it was before its time. I think it was like late 90s, early 2000s. It was kind of, it's very different. Yeah, so, yes. What you need? What you need?
I just need to step away and check on the kids for a sec.
Okay, cool. I'm actually just going to cut out because that makes it easier for for editing. So just text me when you're ready.
You got it. Be right back. Oh, nice. We've got one that can see.
And my fluid that changes from hydrogen peroxide and whatever chemical didn't quite do its job, so they burn. Ugh. Okay.
He's got burning eyes. Yeah.
Jesus.
Sorry, if and when that time ever comes, you will find that quiet children is not always a good thing.
Yeah. I know it's probably on the horizon.
I hope so, man.
Yeah.
Let me know.
I mean, for me, I guess we're just rolling. I'm talking about it now.
Sure, why not?
Life stories. I guess we're here now. Because I didn't have too much to talk about on entertainment. There was a thing about. Okay, wrapping up entertainment before moving on to life stuff.
Let's do that. Yeah.
I guess CinemaCon showed footage of the live action / CGI Sonic the Hedgehog movie, and I continued to vomit internally.
Yeah, there's nothing about that looks good. From concept to anything I've seen.
So, word from the people, we basically have descriptions of scenes, is that the movie feels like it's aimed more at 8-year-olds as opposed to people like me. So it's probably not meant for me. And I actually had a discussion with Jessica about it. And she was like, well, they're probably trying to get a new demographic. And they can do that with a big live action movie. I was like, maybe. I don't know. But it sounds bad, and I don't know. Like, I have to see it by fan law. Whereas, like,
I don't.
the Joker,
Yeah, that one I can draw a line on.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, Sonic the Hedgehog is my introduction into both, in my opinion, both video games and like superhero type characters. Because I grew up learning my ABCs by having a Sega Genesis and plugging in cheat codes in a Game Genie. And I had to learn my ABCs to use that goddamn 3626 character system so that I could have infinite lives, because I was really bad when I was like 4 years old. So Sonic the Hedgehog for me is like, I have to show up, even if it's something as blasphemous as what they're fucking doing.
Sure. And same kind of thing with me is you had your, back in the day, you had your Nintendo houses and your Sega houses.
Mm-hmm.
I was a Sega house.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
by choice, but that's what mom and dad bought me.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. It's
right. Your side scroller was either Mario or Sonic.
I mean, it's true. It's true. You grew up one way or another, or you grew up not with those.
Right.
You know. So the footage description showed they talked about Jim Carrey, who is officially referred to as Dr. Robotnik. So at least they got something right.
Yes.
But they said
that's not bad casting.
They said that it's just Jim Carrey. Like, he's wearing a black suit and a red handlebar mustache.
So he's
not bald.
Black Riddler?
He's not bald, and he's not doing a voice. So it's just Jim Carrey. Is basically what the footage says.
It's the Riddler in black with a mustache.
Yeah. So
okay. Not that that's bad.
It's bad.
I mean,
it's bad. They described a scene where, because it's got what's his name? Jason Marsden? John Marsden? Fucking Cyclops.
John.
Yeah, John.
James.
There we go. We got to it. It was a J sound. We made it. We made it, folks. The footage described James, I guess, like at a speed trap because he plays a cop, seeing Sonic going too fast and he goes over the speed limit. And then somehow, I guess, he catches him, which doesn't make any sense to me. And then another scene showed him smuggling Sonic in a duffel bag into like the police precinct or something. And then like a janitor sees him and is like, "Oh, what do you got in there?" Is like what do you got in there? Like a child? And then I guess, I don't know, James says something funny or something. I don't know. It sounds terrible.
The bag smells like Right Guard and old ham sandwiches.
Oh yeah, there you go. You're reading the actual thing. I was just gonna paraphrase the fuck out of it because I just thing. However, the article also does state, it comes from IGN, that the footage they did see, they said it does look better once you've seen it in the, like, how he's integrated into the real world. They say the design still looks super odd if you're a fan. They said it's not as good as how the live action Detective Pikachu movie looks, but they said that it does look better when you see it. Not great, but better. And so that's what we got for that one.
That's entertainment.
Well, then the last thing was Disney confirms that the shot like
New Mutants
2 years ago, New Mutants X-Men film is getting a theatrical release sometime this year, and my money's on October.
Do you think that was literally hanged up on the Disney Fox merger?
No, it had a really problematic production because they shot it in like 2017.
Right.
And then it was supposed to come out at the beginning of 2018. And then they announced 6 months of reshoots. And then it went dark.
And I'm wondering if the went dark was... Call me crazy, tinfoil hat on here.
I wonder if happening.
Leaf blower. Hold on.
Oh.
Done.
Oh, wow. That totally killed it. Excellent.
Yes, double pane windows are a beautiful thing.
Yes, they are expensive, though.
Came with the house.
Oh, well, that's good then. Good.
Things to look for when you buy a house. Back to
yeah,
right, circle back.
You're right, because Good point. Yeah, I'll definitely want that for heating.
You almost wonder if you want to put on a spinfoil hat or a tinfoil hat or whatever and go, did Disney fund the reshoots knowing?
No, because the paperwork they hadn't even announced the deal until summer.
Yeah, and but paperwork and action, right? There's contracts and there's
maybe
handshake deals, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe that's why it went dark.
It's possible.
Right.
The other thing that was interesting was that they announced not like hardcore release date, but they announced that we can look forward to seeing more Deadpool. Like specifically movie Deadpool. So I think that's pretty much what we thought was going to happen. Was Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool way too successful and popular to be rebooted? And because of the nature of his character, he can just wisecrackingly be like, I'm in the MCU now. Suck it, bitches. While everything else gets burnt to the ground and rebooted.
And call me crazy, but I think one more Deadpool and we're good. I don't think we will have the patience for a 5, 6, 7 movie run.
Yeah? Do you think so? I don't know. Yeah. Deadpool...
I know.
Deadpool's surprising.
There's one of those where it's just oversaturation can just become a thing, and he is such. It's one thing to cameo him or put him in I guess you could get away with putting him in a montage movie.
Well, you know what they could do, as far as the MCU, not in terms of like however the fuck they're going to integrate him, because it really doesn't matter with Deadpool. He can just be there, and it could just make sense just because it's Deadpool. But as far as like if you're talking about Deadpool burnout, what it could be is a big grandiose third MCU, like firmly in the MCU movie, and then he just shows up like Hulk in the rest of the films.
Right.
Like, he's just got a couple of scenes in each movie. I could totally see. I could totally see it just be like that. I think we
could get away with that, but I think as far as full feature Deadpool, I think we have one more in us, and then we'll start getting Deadpool burnout.
I hear what you're saying. I think the character has more legs than that, personally, and I didn't believe that because I was not actually.
No, don't get me wrong. I agree with you. I think the public at large.
Maybe.
Right.
Maybe not.
We're going to be stepping into Jim Carrey, Adam Sandler territory.
Well, I think the fact of the matter is, prior to Marvel's acquisition of Fox, they were going to shoot an X-Force movie at the end of the year, which has Deadpool in it, and they set up the seeds for that in Deadpool 2.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to wonder is he, like, just because of that, like, are they going to continue to do X-Force, or I don't know. Anyway, we've talked about all this stuff ad nauseum. So let's fucking move on to another fucking topic, because we have done things, good sir.
Right.
And I've spun the ring, not with the fucking thing. Okay, here we go. All right, we got Air. How good's your thing?
Video games.
Fan-fucking-tastic. So, some things...
Alan Wake 2, huh?
Yeah, so some things on the video games. So, first of all, we have more details on Borderlands 3, which we need to get into, because while it was announced and we talked about it, there are a lot more details. So, first of all, Borderlands Game of the Year Edition is out now on PS4 and Xbox 360. 4K remastered and playable in 4-player split screen. Borderlands The Handsome Collection, which contains Borderlands 2, got an HD up-res texture pack as well as 4-player split screen support. And that's free for existing owners. I downloaded it just the other day on my PlayStation. It's 17 gigs. And because it's real fucking confusing on how to do it, it doesn't just auto-install in the update. You get an update that enables it, but then you have to go in-game and then to the in-game DLC browser to pull up the PlayStation Store to pull up the texture pack. Just so you all fucking know my pain.
Oh
Just
my gosh.
saying.
How do you get Nate to not play your game? That right there.
Okay, cool. So, there is some speculative, because it's not officially confirmed, but has popped up on like the European Xbox store that Borderlands 3 has cross-platform co-op support,
I've been hearing this.
which would be fucking amazing. Mike pointed out on the Discord that's probably between Xbox and PC, because Sony doesn't play with that shit. However, I'm wondering if what if it's Xbox, PC, and fucking Google Stadia? Like, I could see it potentially being something like that, maybe. If
Are you really going to bring up the S word?
Stadia? Maybe? But, yeah. I mean, unless Sony makes an announcement, probably not going to play nice. But Borderlands 3 is a huge franchise that literally spawned Destiny. So maybe I could see them playing nice on that one. It's big enough, you know.
Whenever I hear cross-platform play, my mind does not immediately go PC just because of the nature of console versus PC control schemes.
Well,
so
I mean,
when someone specifically says they're going cross-play, my brain says console.
Well, but the thing is on Borderlands is it doesn't have PvP, so there's no axe to grind in terms of like, oh, your fucking mouse lag is better than my fucking controller lag or whatever. Like there's no axe to grind in that scenario.
Don't get me wrong, I'd love to see crossplay come to everything, but when someone says they're crossplay and it's Xbox to PC, that's a fucking cop-out.
Well, now it's generally, if the game's also on the platform, it's also Xbox, Switch, PC now.
Right. That's
there's a lot of that going on. So Borderlands 3 releases on September 13th, PC, Xbox One, and PS4. Bad news for PC owners, it is PC exclusive to the Epic Games Store for the first 6 months upon release.
So what?
Yeah,
so what?
Okay. I mean, people who don't want Epic's Game Store will have to do that or wait 6 months.
Yes. And that is the answer. So what? If you don't like the Epic Game Store and you want to boycott the game for 6 months until it comes on your platform of choice, do it. I'm tired of hearing about it. I'm tired of hearing about the whole,
fair enough.
I have to put the Epic Store in my computer. Get over it.
Well, the fact of the matter is Epic is straight up paying developers to have timed release or full release exclusives on their store.
Sure.
With all their Fortnite money cash.
Sure.
Also, bit of history, Borderlands and Gearbox have always used the Unreal Engine. And if you don't think that Gearbox and Epic Games haven't got some buddy thing going on because of all their success with their own Epic Games engine at Gearbox, I think you're fucking wrong. Just saying.
Right.
Just saying.
Right.
It was probably
I'm
something
tired
like
of the outrage culture over someone chose to go on this engine. Someone chose to exclusively release on the PS4 for 6 months. Someone chose to just stop, please. Please.
Yeah, fair enough. And I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing some articles about like Epic waived the license fee for Unreal Engine for Gearbox so they could have exclusive on their store for 6 months. Wouldn't be surprised. Sure. So we have details on the new heroes, or Vault Hunters, or Guardians, if you want me to translate it to Destiny speak. We've got Moze, M-O-Z-E, is the gunner. She has a mech who turns into an iron bear that other people can climb on and shoot from. We have Amara as the Siren, who's a capable brawler with the ability to summon ethereal fists, and she has siren powers to smash her enemies. Flak, which is FL4K, is the Beastmaster, who lives for the hunt, and he has loyal beasts that follows his master's every command. So I'm thinking he's kind of like more like a summoner or a command class, which is the kind of class that I play in Borderlands. So I think I'm going to be the Beastmaster for sure. Then we have Zane the Operative, who's specializing in battlefield gadgetry. Zane is extremely proficient at slipping into combat, creating chaos, and sneaking back out as if he were never there. Now, this is the one... Now, we've had kind of stealth assassin classes in Borderlands before, and they've been kind of hit or miss, depending on 1 and 2, and then the additional characters in DLC and 2.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the least, like... I don't know... There's not enough data about this class to make a judgment about it, because it's like Gunner, there's always a soldier guy, and he's a soldier. That's what he is. It's in all the Borderlands. That's what Maz the Gunner is. Beastmaster, he's a summoner, so he's probably like a cross between there's a dude who threw out a turret, and then there's a chick who Mechromancer, who summons like a robot. So he's gonna be like a cross between that. And then there's a fucking Siren, and Sirens are kind of like the mage class, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Operative, it's like it's stealth class, but we don't know what it does. Like, for example, in Borderlands 2, Zero, he had a cloak, so he could get in and out, and he had like a fucking ultimate sniper thing. So, not enough data about that class to make any sort of judgment. They've also got super, super cool thing. They've got a level syncing system. So you can make like if you fall behind in levels, you can still make damage on high level enemies if you're with high level friends.
Right. But only when you're in that circumstance.
I think so. There's not enough details to tell you one way or another. But I think that's cool personally because there's definitely level dwarfs in Destiny and Division. And Anthem and all of those types of games. But Borderlands goes up to level 50. So the level dwarf can get real fucking big sometimes in the past. So this is actually really cool. So for people who are hella busy or don't have time to play games, like you, Nate, you can hop on and, be level 12 and be dealing decent, respectable damage with level 30s. And sure. I think that's fucking cool.
Yeah, and as long as I'm not rewarded with level 30 gear for being handicapped, right?
Well,
I'm coming in at level 12, and I'm playing with my level 30 friends, so I'm going to get level 29 gear. No, you should be getting level 13 gear.
Well, something that's cool, speaking of gear, they have 2 gear modes for the loot in Borderlands. Mm-hmm. And this is important because unlike Destiny and Anthem, and Division, Borderlands hands down has way the fuck more guns and loot than either of those games combined could ever hope to have.
Quote unquote, billions of guns. Guns with legs.
Yeah, I think the line they said in Borderlands 2 was it was a gunzillion. Mm-hmm. The fact of the matter is Borderlands just has way the fuck more loot. And there's always something to chase, loot-wise, in Borderlands. It's actually pretty awesome. But the important part about that is they have 2 modes for loot. You have classic Borderlands 2 rules, which is first come, first serve. A lot of loot stealing from people's chests and rushing to get to chests and fucking over your friends. Mm-hmm. Or you can receive your own discrete loot stream, as they call it. So I imagine that they have an ability to instance or not instance the loot caches, which honestly is really cool. So if you want like fair cooperative, everybody gets the same roll of loot, or classic Borderlands style, first comes first serve, suck it. I think that's actually super awesome that you even get the option personally.
To say there isn't a benefit of not being first. It's a good example of that.
Yeah, exactly. They've also reclassed some of the weapons. So Borderlands, much like Destiny, has brands of manufacture of guns. But they're doing something a little different in Borderlands 3. Each manufacturer has a special to its manufacturer ability of the gun that's innate to that brand. The Atlas guns fire tracker tags and have smart bullets to always hit the target. Hashtag Fifth Element called, wants its gun back. Dull weapons feature alternate fire modes. So I'm thinking like grenade launchers and flamethrowers and magic missiles and all that sort of stuff.
Sure. Single fire, one rocket, alt fire, cluster rocket.
Yeah, something like that. That sounds cool. And then the Malwan range now incorporates firearms that can toggle between 2 different elements and deal guaranteed elemental damage. So this is for those Destiny people, and Anthem actually is probably a good example too. Destiny and Anthem have elemental damage types, and and if you're rolling with the right elemental damage, you're doing the best amount of damage. Borderlands has a lot of elemental damage types, so the ability to switch between 2 and not carry a fuck ton of guns just for it is really cool. Real cool, actually.
Nice.
And then they've also kind of teased at some of the crazier guns, which is Borderlands 3 specialty. They're talking about rifles that spawn fire-spewing volcanoes, guns with legs that chase down enemies while verbally abusing them. Classic Borderlands.
If anyone has ever played the Unreal Tournament Game of the Year edition, the Happy Grenades, yeah, it's like that. You throw these grenades out, and they're little happy, they're smiley faces, and they would just literally chase you around the map, insulting you the entire time. Wonderful, wonderful times. I love creativity in weaponry. I love creativity in design like that.
Oh gosh, you should really give Borderlands to a world. Like, the shooting mechanics are a little antiquated compared to, Destiny and newer shooters like that.
And this is my thing. Like, I told you earlier, I played Division 2.
Mm-hmm.
The cover system really, really aggravates me. Really? I can't tell you how many times because you have to be in cover. I'm stuck in cover, and I get some guy that, suicide runs up to knife me, and I can't shoot him because I'm literally glued to a wall or a car, and I can't turn my gun to the right without coming out of cover, which means I'm now standing full up for everyone else to shoot at. And, so I'm a big shooting mechanics are a make or break for me.
Okay.
So,
well,
you're saying it's a little antiquated. That might be. I love your game, but
it's 8 years old. Like, there's no getting around it. Like, Destiny
Halo is how many years old?
2001, so it's 18 years old.
Quake 3 Arena is how many years old?
Ooh, older. Was that 95, 96? Mm-hmm. Right around there, somewhere like that.
Okay,
so older. Yeah,
you can still have good game mechanics and be old. Just saying, or shooting mechanics and still be old.
Okay, well, fair enough. Cool. Yeah, Borderlands 3 coming September 13th in 3 different flavors, just so y'all know. Standard edition, $60, base game.
Too many editions.
Deluxe edition, $80. Base game, digital content, a bunch of cosmetics, like a fuck ton of cosmetics, 2 toy guns, toy grenade mod, and a weapon trinket. I don't know what these are. I don't know what that is. Loot drop boost mods, so probably better roll for RNG.
Pay to win. Right.
Well, it's probably so. The thing in Borderlands is, so the reason they have a billion guns is basically they have like a couple hundred like handcrafted weapons, and then all the other guns in the game are done with a procedural generation system, which is actually really smart. So you could have like a fucking sniper that does fire damage and explosion if you have the right roll on it.
Right, it's based on a frame and then add-ons.
Exactly.
Which, great, I love that system.
Oh, yeah. And honestly, going back to Borderlands 2 after all these years, honestly, Borderlands 2 still doing it better than all the competition.
Wouldn't know, haven't played.
Yeah, I'm just saying from experience, a lot of playing a lot of games here and whatnot. And then finally, or actually, no, not
All
finally.
right, spin the wheel. Spin the wheel.
Spin the wheel?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, we're running out of time. That's right.
Yep.
Okay, cool. There's more editions, and there's an Ultimate Edition, super duper Ultimate Edition for $250 for those crazy enough to do that. Spinning the wheel. Actually, do we need to spin the wheel? We did life, we did technology, we did entertainment. We're on tech. Tech?
We're on tech.
Yeah, tech. Good old tech. I like tech. I have a couple of things to talk about on tech this week.
A whale with legs.
Yeah, sure. We'll start with that one. So, I think you just titled the episode right there, Nate. A whale with legs.
Legs, yes.
Starring Nate. So yeah. Inverse.com is reporting that along the coast of Peru, scientists have discovered an ancient whale that's got 4 motherfucking legs. Like, that means this whale gets the fuck up out of the ocean and does something, I guess.
Or was this a big ass whale that happened to eat something that had 4 legs?
I don't know. It's saying that the legs were small hooved, and that it's different. The bone structure is different than the humpbacks and bowheads we know today. And it was 42.6 million years ago. And they're calling the species the Paragocetus pacificus, which means the traveling whale that reached the Pacific, because nobody wants an easy name like Waka Whale or something.
Here, give it a Pokemon name, Foot Whale, or
there you go, Land Whale.
Orca Shoes.
They're saying it's indisputable record of a quadrupedal whale. It's the most complete skeleton they've found, and it is the oldest yet found in the Americas. They seem to indicate from just the bone structure that it was capable of standing and possibly walking on land. Bones in the tail are reminiscent of beavers and otters' tails, suggesting that the body part was essential to its swimming capabilities. The ancient animal was 4 meters long, and physical evidence suggests it possessed locomotion abilities that enabled it to travel great distances. So not only that, it was probably fairly fast on land, it sounds like.
Yeah. 4 meters? That's what? 12 feet?
Sure, I'll believe you, aeronautical person with the math. Yeah, do that. Good job.
Well, meter roughly a yard.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, and that's what we know. There's a lot more scientific data here, but it's basically just it walked. It's a different whale. It's different than all previously discovered. It's been, carbon dated and whatnot. So that's cool. Discovering new shit on our own planet all the time. Isn't that crazy? This seems kind of insane, but sure, why not? So Amazon plans to launch a network of satellites, specifically 3,236 satellites, to provide low latency, high speed broadband connecting to unserved and undeserved communities around the world. So, Skynet. Well, wondered who was going to do it, folks. Turns out, Google's not first. It's going to be Amazon.
And if any of our listeners here have ever had to deal with the satellite internet, we're all laughing at this right now.
Oh, yeah. I've actually used satellite internet.
Mm-hmm. You're going to provide low latency, high speed broadband. Low latency, keyword there.
Yeah.
To a satellite, keyword there. Really?
Yeah, I don't know how that's gonna work.
And Stadia is gonna stream in 4K.
Yeah, and Stadia's gonna. Yeah.
What have I been missing here?
Yeah, I don't know. It's called Project Coupier, and they're low Earth orbit satellites. So I guess they'd sit probably just outside of the atmosphere, maybe? I guess. Knowing what I know about space, I would guess that would be what that would mean.
I am going to give you a quick definition of what they consider low Earth orbit.
Okay, fair
There
enough.
we go.
But Amazon says that this is a long-term project that envisions serving tens of millions of people who lack basic access to broadband internet. Look forward to partnering on this initiative with companies that share this common vision.
So
And
1,200 miles.
Okay, so what's an airliner fly at?
300,000 feet.
Okay, well, how much is that in miles?
I'm Google-fooing right now.
Okay. Amazon apparently announced back in November that it was building 12 ground stations around the world to transmit the data to and from the satellites. Yeah.
5.5.
So 5.5 miles. Okay. So a lot more than that then.
Right.
Okay. Fair.
Low latency, huh? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, sure. All right. Amazon's got their hands in a lot of pies, and now the next one's space. I mean, why not? I guess. Sure. That's interesting. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say about that other than good for them. Pretty sure we have a lot of satellites up in the orbit already. Yeah.
Well, considering the width of the entire United States is about 2,700 miles, you're telling me I'm going to get good ping times from 6 times that? All right. Over wireless. Cool.
Well, it does
I've been to
specifically.
Starbucks. It doesn't work that way.
It does specifically say unserved and undeserved communities around the world.
Underserved, yes.
So
Yeah.
low income and third world countries, I'm guessing.
Sure. They get Starbucks Wi-Fi everywhere. Awesome. Enjoy.
Starbucks Wi-Fi is so bad. I don't know why it's so bad. And I live in the motherfucking capital of Starbucks. It is terrible. I find this most fascinating, but then again, I like chips, and I'm obviously slightly biased, probably wholly biased. Key Apple iOS chip architect Gerald Williams III has departed Apple and is heading to Intel, of all places.
Dun, dun, dun.
Now, this is a big deal because this guy developed the A7 chip, which goes back to around the iPhone 6S, I believe, all the way up to the current A12X, which is in the phone in my hand, which is roughly 6.5 times the raw computing power and abilities of my fucking laptop to the right of me. So basically, he went from really good mobile processors to mobile processors that fucking dwarf full plugged-in processors that can beat the shit out of the performance of, like, the phone in my hand can beat the shit out of the performance of the original Xbox One. It's a fraction of the size, fraction of the power consumption, runs all goddamn day, plays shit like Fortnite at 60 frames a second in probably above 1080p, I would guess, based on my screen. But so this is kind of, it's really odd to me because it seems to me like just cursory glance, Intel's been losing kind of some ground in just the general computing world at large. You know, its mobile processors aren't in too many cell phones. You know, they've probably got the laptop market, but AMD seems to be catching up and in some respects beating them in the desktop market.
Mm.
You know, and
I would
obviously,
disagree. I would agree with you in the GPU market, not the CPU market.
yeah, okay, fair enough. But it seems odd to me that Apple, who has the most capital in the world, can't keep what is seemingly one of the rising stars or one of the best chip designers, and he goes to Intel of all places. Like, I'm not saying, like, you know, no love for
Money
Intel,
talks.
but I'm saying though, like, what the fuck did Intel offer him that Apple couldn't? You know? like
The
something.
world will never know. You're right. That
Yeah.
had to be just a ton of, let me back a moving truck up to your house with unmarked large bills.
I mean, you have to wonder, like, because it seems crazy to me that money-wise, Apple couldn't keep him around. Especially because he's been with Apple for so long, and, like, he's made, like, literal quantum leap advancements in
Yeah,
computing.
but what has Apple done recently in terms of innovation?
Well, I would argue that the innovations have been more in things like this chip, man. It has integrated AI chips that are processing 300 trillion thousand a second, like, facial operations and scanning face data and doing real-time voice decoding and stuff, whereas other companies like Amazon and Microsoft are doing all that decoding on a back-end server somewhere.
Sure.
And they're doing this in real time in a chip that's in the palm of your hand. Even if you just want to talk about it from a graphics perspective, the chip.
Right, but so say you've done that. You've now made this chip.
Mm-hmm.
What really are you you're going to make it faster?
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
Right? Why wouldn't you move on and now? Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he's one of those kind of engineers who, like, makes the greatest thing he can and then he moves somewhere else to try to top it. Maybe he's one of those kind of guys.
Maybe.
Because, like, I've met some people like that who, like, make, like, the greatest thing ever. I mean, like, yeah, it's real cool. Then I'm going to move over to another company, do it all over again, but bigger and better.
And you've seen a lot of people that left Google to start their own companies that kind of did that, and then eventually got bought back up by Google.
Yeah.
Apple's done the same thing.
Speaking of the Google Apple thing, the chief AI architect for Hey Google from Google has left and has now joined Apple.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a really good thing because, regardless of my fanboyism, Siri is not as great as Hey Google or even Amazon Alexa, in my opinion. And in certain respects, not as good as Cortana either. So this is great news.
You're going to put Cortana over Siri?
I think the voice recognition of Cortana on device is way better than Siri. So using less hardware, given, all this powerful hardware we're talking about on Apple with real-time voice decoding.
Okay.
But the fucking software of Cortana does better, understands my voice better on fucking Windows and Xbox than my fucking phone. That's just my personal opinion, and I'm an Apple fanboy. But I think Siri needs multiple injections into her butt. I don't know.
Siri needs some help, but I from my personal experience, I wouldn't say that Siri was better or worse than Cortana. Well, I use it on my PC all the time too, and it's I've just turned it off. Maybe it's gotten better over the years. I've literally turned it off because it's just intrusive and it's just wrong. Okay. I go, hey Cortana, find me a bagel shop, and they go, okay, here's an auto mechanic. No.
Well, fair enough. I mean, these AI, these voice requested AI search engines, they still got some kinks. And I think the only reason that Hey Google, maybe the AI is better, but ultimately, like, I was actually breaking this down the other way. Here's where I think things are as far as this. So Apple's chosen to do 90% of their AI computing on the chip, on the device for security. Awesome. You've got big beefy chips to do it, but obviously your software sucks on it. Cortana is kind of a mixed bag, so there's obviously a program on your computer or Xbox or device or whatever, but there's also some back-end stuff that's obviously helped out by Bing, which, not the greatest search engine ever. However, it's a search engine that's been around for a long time, so it's accrued a lot of fucking data to pull from, right? And in some respects, I think that's a good thing. And then you obviously have Google, who's been, like, the search engine for... Shit, how long has the actual Google search been around? Early 2000s? Or before that?
I want to say before that.
Yeah.
And this was coming from someone that used to use Dogpile.
I used a fucking Netscape. And then
Ask Jeeves, Dogpile.
Yeah, and Ask Jeeves and Netscape. Yeah,
Navigator, yeah.
all that shit. But regardless, I think Google's good at it because they've just accrued so much fucking data in search inquiries, and they've hired the right people to figure out how to sort that data. And I think that's one of the only reasons why, we just on the show here we talk about Google fooing.
You think it's a person? That's funny.
I'm saying somebody built stuff for it, obviously, at some point. You can't deny that. You think I'm wrong? You think it's just Terminators?
It's getting there. It's so getting there.
And then Amazon, I think, is much better at searching and is one of the better ones at understanding your voice because of the fact of the Amazon store, and it knows products and stuff, and all that shit's like inventoried and stuff into its search algorithms. And in some respects, that's better. And kind of the problem is we have kind of this divvying up of the pizza pie of like who's searching what, and they're all lacking in certain areas. So it's interesting to me that a Google AI engineer is going over to Apple. That's all I'm saying.
And that is really good for Google. Those are the few things that Apple does right. And I'm going to get some interesting advertisements on my phone for the next week because of the conversations we've had today.
Oh, yeah? Because...
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
And I'm not a big fan of that either.
Fair enough.
Whoop. Hold on.
Yeah?
There we go.
Something going on?
We're good. Yeah, we're good. We're
okay,
good.
Cool. Well, I don't have any more topics. Do you have anything you particularly wanted to talk about before you go enjoy the rest of your weekend?
I do not. Other than it's been an absolute pleasure to be here today, and yeah, no, I've missed you guys. I've missed
that went way sobbing. Yeah. Too much, too far. Reel it back.
Yeah, I've unfortunately, life has been just an absolute. It's not a train wreck. It's just been a grind.
I would say mine's been a grindy train wreck that sometimes gets on the rails.
yeah, that's a good way to do it. So yeah.
There was a Steve Jobs quote about the 90s before he got kicked from Apple about the development of the computers, and it was like working on the Macintosh is like having a bunch of pirates on a sinking ship while patching the ship and building the sails.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty good description for life in general.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Before we go, in 5 minutes or less, what do you think will be announced in June as far as like E3 and gaming and the future of stuff? Seeing as Sony's not going to be there.
5 minutes or less. Huh?
Yeah. Just your speculation. What do you think? What do you want to see?
Next gen consoles.
Okay. You want them announced or release date?
I want them announced.
Okay, announced. Okay.
I don't think a release date is possible.
I mean,
and if they are, they're great. But...
I mean, I think if anybody has a release date, it'll probably be Sony, given the fact that the PS4 Pro launched a year before the One X. So they're already thinking, or I would think.
You would think.
Would be designing a console more forward.
I would love to see an announcement. I think a release date would be a reach. Yeah. I wouldn't complain.
Okay. Fair enough. Any game you're particularly looking forward to, or a sequel to something you've never even thought of yet? Like you're like, oh sweet, a sequel to that thing. Didn't know that was on the horizon.
Not really. I would love to see someone actually do a Star Wars game right.
Oh, yeah. I mean, wouldn't everybody?
Right. That'd be nice.
It's just a fucking sad-ass fate of affairs on that one.
Disney, Fox, whatever, all this merger, and now all the properties are in one hand.
I mean, Disney just really needs to pull the
Maybe.
license from EA and do what they're
Right.
doing with the Marvel games and giving it to huge AAA developers, like they did with Spider-Man last year with Insomniac, and just let them take the time to do it right. Like,
Right.
that's all you had to do, because, I was listening to a podcast the other day, and, like, Spider-Man came out last September. It's still, and it's a single-player fucking game. It's still, and it's also exclusive. It's still in the top 10 best-selling games.
Whoa. What just happened there?
I mean, it sounded like it got a little dimmer here.
Okay.
You okay?
No, hey, you went crazy robot voice on me.
Oh, no, that's not good. Hopefully the recording is not messed up. I suppose I'll find out in post.
Yeah.
And regardless, we've got enough recording breaks. Thanks for the 40 files I got to sort through. So, yeah.
I would love to see a legit good Star Wars. We've got the precedent for a good open world type MMO. Just do it right. That would love to see it.
Okay, if you could have the Star Wars IP at any video game developer, who'd you have it in?
For so many different reasons. Just for story and universe, I would love to see Blizzard kind of take it. As far as gunplay is concerned, I would love to see Bungie put a hand in it.
So what type of game are you imagining? Are you imagining like a Destiny kind of game?
A Division kind of game? Maybe a third person?
Yeah. Well, they have a strong track record of canceling third-person games.
Right? Right? I don't know where you would go with it. Like, Knights of the Old Republic was the last one that I played, and it was great, and it was kind of a third-person-y.
Well, I mean, I know a lot of people's wish list is a Knights of the Old Republic 3.
Right?
And obviously it would be properly back at BioWare. But a thing that got thrown out the other day, just in conversation with me and Brock, was what if one of the last games on the list Obsidian was working on before they got purchased by Microsoft? And they said they're completing their contracts before moving on to whatever they're going to do exclusive with Microsoft. Now they're owned by Microsoft. What if one of their things was Knights of the Republic 3? Because they did do Knights of the Republic 2. Food for thought.
Just do it and do it right. I don't care. Make it side scroller. I don't care. just do it right.
Yeah. It's a sad state of Star Wars video games right now, unfortunately. And it's crazy because we keep having, like, think about how many fucking Star Wars games we had on, like, Xbox and
Battlefront had so many things going for it that were good, that, just as far as core gameplay, but they were just recycling story for the most part. I mean, all of them are going to.
Yeah, I agree, man.
But yeah, stop trying to make money off of a game and just try to make a game entertaining, and you'll make money off of it.
Well, fair enough. Well, I think that brings us to the end of a actually pretty fantastic episode, if all of these got recorded properly and I don't sound like a robot voice.
If you send me a message tomorrow saying, dude, I lost everything, we're going to have to just do it another week.
Well, I mean, I've got two recordings. So I've got my on-computer recording, and then there's the internal on the server Skype recording.
Right.
So I have two different streams to pull from, so it'd have to be pretty fucking messed up. So, yeah. But thank you for your time and taking time away from your crying babies.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Always a pleasure, so that you can talk to this crying man-child baby.
Yeah, let's do it again soon.
Yeah, absolutely. I keep trying to get you and Burning Wing on the same show.
Burning Wing.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Message me.
I feel
Seriously.
like the
do it right now.
The two dads of the Forking Your Podcast, and plus both with your similar jobs, I feel like it would be a hoot. And also, he keeps saying he's got to get on here. I guess he was saying he was screaming at the
Message me
podcast last week.
right now. Okay.
But yeah, I'll keep trying.
Come on, door?
Huh?
No, I thought that one of my kids was knocking at the door. Yeah.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Well,
Do it.
Alrighty. Yeah, do it. Do it, Burning Wing. We dare you. I know you're busy this weekend. I'm just giving you shit, Burning Wing. I think his excuse was booked wife, kids, soccer game.
Yeah, life of a parent.
Yeah, basically. All right, well, you have anything to say to sign off with? A catchy catchphrase.
No, I do not.
A terrible catchphrase like Brock has been doing.
Shazam.
There we go. Bringing it back. All right.
My daughter's knocking at my office door here.
Fair enough. And this is the end of the show. Everybody knows where to find my shit by now. If not, listen to a different show. All right.
If you don't know where to find me, it's Nate Fu in the Discord. And
I like that your wife said that you're working.
Yeah, right? Working. And GG Nate Fu on Twitter.
Yeah.
Find me, at me, talk to me. Love me. Somebody love me.
It's okay. The Fork family loves you.
All right. That specific Discord person that doesn't have any illegitimate children right now.
Yeah, that has screwed me up for so many weeks now when you changed your name. I was like, who the hell is this person?
Aw, hi, baby.
All right, well, we got kids, and we're
Say
out.
Hi to Tim. Say hi to Tim.
Hi, Sharon.
There you go.
Oh, that's adorable.
Everybody.
And good way to sign off, right?
Yeah, exactly. All right, peace
All
out,
right.
man. Take care.
Yep.
Thank you for listening to a Dynamic Works production podcast. You can find our podcast at www.dynamicworksproductions.com. Feel free to email us at dynamicworks@mac.com.
This is Dominic Armato, the voice of Guybrush Threepwood, and you're listening to a Dynamic Works production podcast.
The Citadel, Arrival, is the first installment in a series of epic science fiction short stories reminiscent of the Pulp Fiction style. It's a fast-paced story that will take you through twists and turns that you will not expect, until they are thrust upon you with all the force, excitement, and chaos of a plasma cannon blast. The story follows Katarl, a nobody cog in the working wheels of a futuristic society run completely by Megacorp, a corporation that carefully runs and manages the lives of the people living under its sphere of power. On one of Katarl's few and far between days off from work, an outing he had hoped would be fun and relaxing turns into an explosive adventure that drags him kicking and screaming into situations and challenges that will make him question every aspect of his life. Watch this colorful tapestry unfurl as Katarl and his newfound allies find their way through this classic, yet oddly surprising tale of good and evil, where nothing is quite what it appears to be. That's The Citadel, Arrival, by author Tim K. Trotter, available right now on Amazon Kindle Store and iTunes iBookstore for only $2.99.